All right, with all the polls and predictions about what might happen in these midterm elections, there's actual voting data that's available right now. And a deep dive of the early voting numbers that are already in offers a lot of hints about what we might see. Lots and lots of people have already cast their ballots in the 2022 elections, thanks to absentee, mail-in voting, etc. According to statistics compiled by Decision Desk HQ, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and Nevada are all expected to have at least 60% of their vote cast early or as absentee. That is a massive early turnout in some key jurisdictions. So what does it tell us? Well, obviously, we don't know who people voted for in the big Senate or gubernatorial races or Congress, but there's some stats that offer some serious clues state by state. In Georgia, the vast majority of the requested early votes have come back. So, more than 2.2 million of the early and absentee votes requested in Georgia have been returned. Less than 100,000 remain outstanding. We'll dive deeper on those numbers in a moment. But Democrats appear to hold a slight advantage. In Nevada, tons of early votes are still outstanding, and notably many are in Democratic strongholds. According to the Nevada Independent, a massive 876,000 votes still outstanding in Clark County, an enormous Democratic area. So Nevada Democrats may be concerned, be counting on a big election day turnout to be sure. The news is a little better for Democrats in a critical major county out west. Washington Post analysis shows that in Maricopa County in Arizona, Republicans have returned far fewer early ballots in 2022 than they did at the same point in 2018. All right, so exactly what clues can we gather from the early vote totals? Let's bring in Julia Manchester, political reporter at The Hill, to help us examine what we know, what we don't know. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it. All right, so let's start with a caveat. We don't know who these people voted for. We don't necessarily know which way this cuts, but there are trends that we can look at, and I guarantee you that all of the campaigns are looking at these trends to see what sort of edges they may have or not have. So we ought to be doing it as well. Let's start with Georgia. A couple of key numbers there. Right now, a little over 1 million Democrats have cast their votes in Georgia. That's about 40,000 more than the number who had submitted their ballots. And also, black voters account for 29.1% of the ballots submitted in Georgia. That's up slightly from November 2021. That is down slightly from January 2021, in which the Georgia elected 2 Democratic senators. What do you make on the whole of these Georgia numbers? Who do you think is more optimistic tonight looking at those early numbers coming in?
Yeah, Dan, the 30,000-foot view would tell you that this is definitely more optimistic for Democrats, because we know that in general, Democratic voters across the board, not just in Georgia, tend to vote early. However, we are seeing more voters come out and vote in person, mostly because there's been more restrictions put on mail-in voting in Georgia. So that's why you're seeing just more in-person voting. However, when we look at the African-American vote in Georgia, we have to see how incredibly pivotal that vote is. That vote essentially played a key role in 2020 and 2021 in bolstering Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff to the Senate. So if we are seeing high African-American turnout already early before Election Day in a state like Georgia, that will bode well for Democrats, because we know that the black voting contingent tends to vote democratically. That being said, though, we do know that Republicans, not just in Georgia, but across the country in some places, are encouraging voters to vote early. That's sort of a different trend than what we've seen, because Republicans tend to vote on the day of. However, with more Republicans in some cases encouraging them, that could mess with these predictions.
It's amazing, and how many howevers you had to put in there, but these are important qualifiers, right? I mean, I understand exactly why you had to put each one. Let's take a look at Arizona. I want to focus on the Republican numbers here. You'll see that Republican early voters are outpacing Democratic early voters slightly, but proportionally speaking, there are a lot more Republican early votes still outstanding than Democrats. What does that tell us?
Yeah, this isn't surprising to me at all. Arizona is a state where there is a lot of mail-in voting or absentee voting, and there has been in the past.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.